The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Angie Thomas is an American young adult author, best known for writing The Hate You Give, published on February 28, 2017. Her second young adult novel, On the Come Up, was released on February 25, 2019. A movie company called Fox 2000 decided to buy the rights to make a movie based on the book The Hate You Give. In March 2017, shortly after the book's auction. The book, The Hate You Give, is about the life of Star Carter. She is a 16-year-old black girl who is living in two contrasting worlds. The first world is her impoverished neighborhood, Garden Heights, and the second world is the wealthy, predominantly white prep school she attends. Most of the students in this school are white. The story of the book or movie. Star Carter, a black girl, is living in two opposite worlds. By day, she attends Williamson Prep, a fancy school where most kids are white and they don't understand her life. By night, she is back in Garden Heights, her vibrant neighborhood buzzing with life and close friends like Kenya. Star feels like she wears two different hats for these two worlds, means she is playing two different roles in these two different places. Star is driven home by her childhood best friend Khalil after a party. While driving home, they are stopped by a police officer for failing to signal at a lane change. The officer barks orders at Khalil, such as to roll down the window and turn off the music. Khalil disagrees with the officer, who instructs him to exit the car. The officer, thinking that Khalil is reaching for a gun, shoots and kills Khalil. As Star mourns over Khalil, the officer realizes that Khalil was not armed. Star, the only witness, watches in horror as her best friend dies. The news portrays Khalil as a bad guy, but Star knows the truth. She is angry, scared, and confused. The police want her to stay quiet, but how can she keep quiet when something so wrong happened? Speaking the truth feels like jumping off a cliff, but with the help of her strong family and Kenya, her friend, Star starts to find her voice. Speaking out is not easy. Threats come from all sides, and even some people close to her think she should stay quiet. But Star is determined to fight for justice for Khalil. As she prepares to tell her story, she meets Chris, a white boy from Williamson Prep who genuinely cares about her. Star testifies in court. Despite the threats and pressure, Star bravely tells the truth about what happened to Khalil. The verdict: the police officer who shot Khalil is not charged with any crime, which devastates Star and the community. Protests and community. Unrest and protests erupt after the verdict, highlighting the bigger issues of racial injustice and police brutality. A glimmer of hope. While there is no legal justice for Khalil, the neighborhood comes together and rebuilds a store destroyed during the protests. This act of resilience shows hope for the future. Star's growth. The experience changes Star. She finds her voice and becomes more involved in activism, determined to fight for what is right. Uncertain future. The story ends with Star looking towards the future, unsure what it holds, but determined to make a difference and keep Khalil's memory alive. The ending does not provide a clear cut resolution, but it shows the power of speaking out and the importance of fighting for justice even when it is difficult. Star's journey is an exciting and emotional roller coaster. It is about friendship, courage, and finding your voice. It is about standing up for what is right, even when it is scary. As Star navigates protests, court hearings, and the fear of retaliation, she learns that even a single voice can make a difference. This story might make you laugh, cry, and maybe even feel a little angry. It will definitely make you think about the world around you. It will show you the importance of speaking out against injustice, no matter how difficult it may be. And who knows, maybe Star's story will inspire you to find your own voice and fight for what you believe in too. Here is a breakdown of the key themes, ideas, and events. Living between two worlds, Star's dual identity. Star feels pressure to code switch between her Garden Heights identity and her prep school identity. In Garden Heights, she is surrounded by friends and family, but also faces the realities of poverty and gang violence. At school, she navigates a mostly white environment, often feeling like an outsider. Witnessing tragedy, Khalil's shooting. Star witnesses the fatal shooting of her childhood friend Khalil by a police officer during a traffic stop. This traumatic event shatters her sense of security and forces her to confront the harsh realities of police brutality. The aftermath, facing pressure. Star is the sole witness to the shooting, putting immense pressure on her to speak out. She faces threats and intimidation from those who want to silence her. The media portrays Khalil negatively, further complicating the situation. Finding her voice, taking a stand. Despite her fear, Star decides to testify about what she saw, seeking justice for Khalil. This act of courage sparks protests and ignites conversations about racial injustice. Systemic racism. The novel highlights the pervasiveness of systemic racism in society, particularly within the justice system. It exposes the disproportionate targeting of black communities by law enforcement. Police brutality. The story confronts the issue of police brutality against black individuals, showcasing the devastating impact it has on lives. Finding identity. Star's journey grapples with the complexities of navigating racial identity in a society where she often feels like she does not fully belong. The power of voice. The narrative emphasizes the importance of speaking out against injustice, even in the face of fear and intimidation. The points you should learn from this book or movie. What are the two contrasting worlds Star navigates? The first world is Garden Heights, her impoverished neighborhood, and the second world is Williamson Prep, her wealthy, predominantly white school. How does Khalil's death affect Star? She witnesses the police shooting and becomes the sole witness, facing immense pressure and trauma. What are the media portrayals of Khalil? Media portrayals of Khalil are negative and inaccurate, further complicating the situation and adding to Star's burden. Why does Star initially hesitate to speak out? She hesitates to speak out due to fear of retaliation, intimidation from those who want to silence her, and the emotional strain of reliving the trauma. What motivates Star to testify? Seeking justice for Khalil and using her voice to speak against the injustice she witnessed motivate her to testify. What are the key themes explored in the book or movie? Systemic racism, police brutality, navigating racial identity, and the power of finding one's voice are the key themes in the book or movie. How does the book or movie portray the impact of systemic racism? The book or movie portrays the impact of systemic racism through the over-policing of black communities, racial profiling, and the disproportionate targeting of black individuals by law enforcement. What are the consequences of police brutality depicted in the story or movie? The loss of innocent lives, the devastation of families and communities, and the erosion of trust in the justice system are the consequences of police brutality. How does Star grapple with her dual identity? She feels pressure to adapt to different social expectations in each environment, often feeling like an outsider in both. Why is speaking out against injustice important in the story or movie? It highlights the need for accountability, challenges the status quo, and empowers others to fight for change. What role does Star's family play in her journey? They provide crucial support, understanding, and encouragement as she navigates the aftermath of the tragedy. What are the challenges Star faces within her community? Following are the challenges Star faces: dealing with the grief and anger surrounding Khalil's death, navigating the complexities of gang violence, and facing potential threats. How does Star's relationship with Chris evolve throughout the story? It highlights the challenges of navigating interracial relationships amid racial tensions and differing social realities. What is the significance of the title, The Hate You Give? It references a Tupac Shakur quote highlighting the cycle of hatred and its destructive consequences. If the society gives us hate as youth, the youth returns the same to the society. What are the protests sparked by Khalil's death symbolic of? They are symbolic of a collective demand for justice, an outcry against systemic racism and police brutality. How does the book or movie portray the psychological impact of witnessing trauma? Star experiences survivors' guilt, anxiety, and emotional turmoil as she processes the event. Survivor's guilt. What is survivor's guilt? It is when you feel bad because something bad happened to others, even though you are okay. It is not your fault, but you might still feel sad or guilty. What message does the book or movie convey about the importance of community? It emphasizes the strength and resilience found in supporting one another, particularly in the face of injustice. How does the ending leave the reader feeling? A sense of hope amid the tragedy, with the possibility of positive change through collective action and individual courage. What broader societal issues does the book or movie raise awareness about? It raises awareness about racial profiling, economic inequality, the school to prison pipeline, and the need for systemic reform. School to prison pipeline. What does it mean? School to prison pipeline refers to the process where certain school policies and practices force students, particularly students of color and students from low income backgrounds, into the juvenile and criminal justice system. Why is The Hate You Give considered an important contemporary novel? It offers a powerful and relatable perspective on the realities of racial injustice, sparking crucial conversations and inspiring action. The change this book or movie should bring about in your life. The Hate You Give should ideally bring about a few key changes in the life of the reader or viewer, especially children and students. Increased awareness of racial issues. The book or movie sheds light on racism, police brutality, and the struggles faced by black communities. The awareness can spark curiosity and encourage children to learn more about these issues and their impact on society. Empathy and understanding. By following Star's story, readers can develop empathy for those who experience racial profiling and injustice. Children can learn to see the world from different perspectives and understand the challenges faced by others. Finding your voice. Star's courage to speak out can inspire children to find their own voice and stand up for what they believe in, even when it is difficult. This can translate to advocating against bullying, unfair treatment, or any injustice they witness. The power of community. The story emphasizes the importance of community support. Children can learn the value of standing together, supporting their friends and classmates, and working towards a common goal. Taking action. The Hate You Give does not shy away from tough topics. It can motivate children to take action, whether it is participating in discussions about race, supporting organizations that fight for equality, or simply treating everyone with kindness and respect. These changes will not happen overnight, but by opening a dialogue and planting the seeds of awareness. The Hate You Give can empower young readers or viewers to become more understanding, empathetic, and active participants in creating a more just society. Expressions you can learn from the book. Thug. Thug means the hate you give. The word thug is the acronym of the hate you give. Racism, meaning thinking that one race or group is superior to other. Context. The shooting of Khalil in The Hate You Give exposes the harsh reality of racism in America. Adult author, meaning an adult author is someone who writes books aimed at adults. These books deal with themes and situations that are considered mature and complex. Fox 2000. Fox 2000 was an American film production company that existed from 1994 to 2021. Find your voice, meaning to become willing to talk, to begin speaking. Context. Star Carter is scared, but she finds her voice with the help of her family and friends. Speak out, meaning to say something openly in public. Context. Star decided to speak out against the unfair treatment of black community. Testify, meaning to give or provide proof. Context. Star testified that she had seen what happened to Khalil. Verdict, meaning a judgment or decision by a court. Context. The verdict in the trial sparked protests across the country. Racial injustice, meaning unfair treatment with a particular race. Context. Star is fighting against the racial injustice in society. A glimmer of hope, meaning a small chance. Context. Star's courage to speak out offered a glimmer of hope for change. Resilience, meaning the ability to be successful again after a difficulty. Context. Star's resilience helped her fight for justice. Activism, meaning the use of direct and noticeable action to achieve a result, usually political or social one. Context: Star's bravery in speaking out about Khalil's death sparked activism in her community. Determined, meaning wanting to do something very much and not allowing anyone or any difficulties to stop you. Context: Star was determined to get justice for Khalil. Stand up for, meaning to defend or support a particular idea or a person who is being criticized or attacked. Context: Star knew she had to stand up for Khalil even when it was scary. Code switching, meaning the act of changing between two or more languages, dialects, or accents when you are speaking. Context: Star had to code switch between two styles of language at Williamson Prep and Garden Heights. Racial profiling, meaning to judge someone by their skin color. Context: Police pulled them over because of racial profiling, not because of a broken tail light. Status quo, meaning present situation. Context: Star wanted to change status quo in her community, but many wanted to leave things as they were. Gang violence, meaning when a group hurts other people. Context: Star worried about gang violence in her neighborhood, especially after Khalil's death. Interracial relationships, meaning relationships between two races, for example, white race and black race. Context: The story explores interracial relationships through Star's connection with her community. Empathy, meaning understanding the feelings of others. Context: Star has empathy with the victims of racism. Bullying, meaning the behavior of a person who hurts or frightens someone smaller or less powerful. Context: Khalil is bullied by the police in the story. Shy away, meaning to avoid something. Context: Star does not shy away from speaking out about what she witnessed. Famous quotes from the story. Sometimes you can do everything right and things will still go wrong. The key is to never stop doing right. What's the point of having a voice if you are gonna be silent in those moments? You shouldn't be. People like us in situations like this become hashtags, but they rarely get justice. At an early age, I learned that people make mistakes and you have to decide if their mistakes are bigger than your love for them. Goodbyes hurt the most when the other person's already gone. I cannot change where I come from or what I have been through. So why should I be ashamed of what makes me me? That's the hate they are giving us, baby. A system designed against us. That's thug life. I look at books as being a form of activism because a lot of times they will show us a side of the world that we may not have known about. Brave doesn't mean you are not scared. It means you go on even though you are scared. I wish people like them would stop thinking that people like me need saving. It's dope to be black until it's hard to be black. Meaning, there is a double standard when it comes to black culture. White people often embrace aspects of black culture like music and fashion, but shy away from the challenges black people face. You can destroy wood and brick, but you cannot destroy a movement.